What's up, guys? I am live. We are going live here in just a little bit, but I'm getting started early so I can start sharing this stuff out. So bear with me a second. I'm kind of getting an early start for the shares. Hey, there's Miss Lori.
Hey
Hello.
everybody.
How you doing?
Good.
You recovered from San Antonio?
Recovered, yes. I am full swing back to work, man.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like take a
I,
break, but get back to work, right? That's how it
Yeah,
goes.
I left Monday morning, drove about 7 hours, 8 hours, and then I just couldn't go anymore. I was so exhausted from all this running around I've done in March. I couldn't even keep my eyes open.
Oh,
So
geez.
I took a little 40-minute detour to Marty's and them and stayed at Gabe's Cave and then left early yesterday morning and got home and immediately unpacked and started uh, packing stuff to take to the post office and answering emails and all that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
but home the rest of the month. But so I'm going to be able to get caught up on what's up, Ryan? What's up, Kev? Everybody, be able to get caught up. Be sure to share out for us, guys. I'm jumping the gun early because I just kind of wanted to get on and share and uh, just try to get some of that posted out. But I had a great time hanging with you guys this weekend, though.
Yeah.
That was uh, getting to meet Big D.
I think you guys bonded a little more than what I wanted. No, just kidding.
Hey,
Just kidding.
he spoons really well.
No, I'm glad that you guys I mean, like, obviously I'm glad that you guys got along, but um I didn't expect you guys to be thick as thieves before the end of it, but all right.
I told you everybody likes me. I don't know where all this confusion is coming from. Well,
No,
I guess let me word it the right way. All the good, genuine people like me.
that's true. This is true. Yeah, for those that, didn't see, my hubs came down to San Diego with me, and so that was the second time he's been
You
at
in
a
San
Comic-Con
Antonio?
working with me. Other times, we just go and we walk the floor, but, him behind the table is a rare occasion, so
Yeah. Yeah, he was super cool. I liked him.
thanks. Appreciate it.
But, but yeah, back to the grind. I've got actually Marty now. So I'm trying not to jinx myself, but I went back to the table negotiations for those people with the house.
Yeah, and?
Well, we got the contract signed,
Okay.
pending pending inspection.
We're alright, pending inspection, right.
Yeah, and then and when we drove out there this morning. Marty and him actually drove up yesterday. Marty and Missy because they've owned one of those homes before, and I'm
Really?
so exhausted. Even though the inspector was going to be there with me, I kind of wanted a fresh set of eyes on too. That's dealt with those homes also.
Yeah.
So Marty and Missy were kind enough to come up last night, and we went out there this morning, looked at it, and there's some issues that are bigger than what they said were. That that we're waiting on him to finish typing up the inspection so we can give it to the owners, and we're going to have to do some negotiation on the price.
That's always how it goes. They hope you won't find it kinda deal, and then if you do, it's like, "Oh, well, we'll negotiate down the price."
I spent the money and hired one of the top 5 inspectors in our region, so in our metro area.
Mhm.
So I told him straight up, I was like, I need you to be as anal as possible. I want to know everything. So he was there about probably 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
But Marty and him, we went over everything too, and so we'll see. Because it's one of those things. If you want the price that I offered you, that you agreed to and contract to, you're going to have to fix this stuff. Yeah.
Right, or
Now
if
it's
you don't wanna deal with it.
big. Like it's not minor shit. Like the heating and air doesn't work on either floor.
Oh, that's not
And
good.
they told us that the heating and air worked on the second floor and just not the bottom floor because it wasn't hooked up. Well, come to find out, none of it's working. So that's
a big problem.
that's almost 20 grand worth of stuff. Yeah. So it's going to be, it's going to be, they accept the offer and they fix it, or they're going to have to come down a good bit on the price. So we'll see. We shall see. Chris said he'll try to make it. He's working, and that's okay. But anyway, how you doing, Ms. Lori?
I'm fine. This has been Tom Hutchinson in the chat.
Go Google it, and I'm sure you can find it out.
Hey, Dan. It's just it's like we came home, and of course this week is Easter, so I usually am the one that hosts both sides of the family at my house. So I'm into party planning and hosting and menu and getting the kids everywhere for things. And hi, Brad.
What's up?
Ew.
Yeah, we've got our gender reveal this weekend for Victoria's baby. My daughter, so that'll be pretty cool. And then of course, like you said, Sunday is Easter. So yeah, it'll be a busy weekend, but luckily, like I said, I have no travels this month, so I finally can get some stuff done around here. I've got 3 covers I've got to get done. I've got commissions I need to wrap up, stuff I need to ship out. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have Rise of the Mummy in. I've got to start packing, sorting and packing that. So we'll see. Here's Mr. Chris.
Just staying busy.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing good, man. You guys having a good day?
Can't complain. How about you?
Not bad. Tired. We did Mockingbird Lane this past weekend, and so I got home yesterday. But yeah, it's been busy, man. Been busy. But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. We're doing a bunch of covers for you guys too, so that's been a lot of fun. So do me a favor, Chad. Tell everybody, Chad. Geez, I saw Chad in the damn comments. Man, Chad, you have to
tired he is.
My brain is jelly, so please overlook me. I saw Chad in the comments, so I'm repeating whoever the fuck Chad is. So Chris, give us let's introduce everyone to you. Tell them who you are, what you do, and give them a little rundown.
Yeah, so I'm Chris Sahloff. I am the creator of the comic book Constantly Running Into Trouble. I'm also the president of Homebrewed Comics. We publish Crit. We publish Burlap, which is on Kickstarter now, Celestial Knight, Bigfoot Knows Karate, Caspian Porter, a slew of stuff we've just released this year. So it's been a busy 2 years.
Nice. Because you also do. Now, forgive me if I'm remembering this wrong, because again, I'm beat. You write a lot of your books too, right?
Yeah. So we've got a couple things that are about to be announced that I am, if not lead writer, co-writer on a couple things. Big things that I have to get permission to announce. But Crit is my baby. That's the one I started off with, and it's actually a Dungeons and Dragons superhero D&D, and I record it and then I translate that into a comic book. So I do a lot of I was the dungeon master in the game, so I wrote the core story, the actions, the dialogue, and those things of the main characters come from the recording, but everything else is me, the DM, trying to kill my friends.
Okay. That's cool. That's definitely different way to jump on it.
It's hilarious though. I've read Crit, and I've had Chris on the brew before. And when we were talking about it, when you read the characters, they are distinctly different. It's kind of like what you did when you had different writers come in to write different sections of your story, William. But like all the characters are so different, and some of them are just so hilarious. It would be like a comic book if you and I, William, were talking to each other. You know what I mean? Like that's the level of hilarity, and it's a really good time. I really enjoy that comic, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's it's a labor of love. I actually, I don't know if you know this, William. I taught myself how to draw just to do this.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, in 2019, I wasn't an artist. I was, I'd doodle on paper, I'd throw paint
Right.
on a canvas, but I wasn't an artist at all. And I just found myself in position with a digital tablet and my friends being stupid. And I was like, this would just be fun to start sketching it out, and just snowball affected into what we have now. So,
Nice.
um, you know, it's crazy. Sometimes I look back and like on my drive, I'll see really old drawings and I'm like, I can't believe, in 6 years I went from that to this.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of how busy I stay with comics.
Yeah.
I was actually just I'm working on issue 10 right now. So, I drew issue 1 in 2019, released it in 2020.
Right.
And now it's 2026 and I'm drawing issue 10, which will hit Kickstarter April 22nd. And I was talking to my colorist and I was like, I haven't drawn my characters in a year because the last book was the King Arthur book.
Right.
And it's just crazy to me how, you can draw every single day and sometimes not even draw your characters for that long.
Yep.
Comics is a crazy universe.
Well, I know when you I've done a couple covers for you, and hey, sweetie, what's up, Glenn? What's up, everybody? And I had an absolute, like, when you showed me some of the characters and stuff for Crit, I immediately told you I wanted to do that guy.
Yeah,
The cat.
Incredible colors by Dave Kemp, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, because it's so, it's so different from what I normally get asked to do. And I haven't had a chance to read the book yet, so sadly I can't give my opinion on that yet. But I definitely had a great time doing the cover. I had a great time working with you on that project, and then I've done another cover for you for another project that we're going to be talking about on a future episode. Also, and I actually had a blast with that one too. So when you decided to jump in, and we'll stay kind of on Crit because we'll be talking about burlap on a different episode. But what made you, like, with so many pockets out there of different types of comics you can do, of course, what made you want to do this type of thing kind of based off your D&D type stuff? I mean, that's pretty unique.
I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've talked to Lori like a ton of times in the past 5 years. This is a fun story. So initially, like I said, this wasn't to be a thing. It wasn't ever meant to be an actual comic book. I was going to draw a few pages for my friends and kind of be done. And I think it was like 12 pages on this Samsung tablet. And I was so proud of this thing. I thought this was like, I remember saying to one of my players, I was like, man, I should submit this to Image. This is so good.
Yeah.
And I say that and I just laugh because I still have never submitted Image. But I took it to my ex-wife. And my ex-wife, whatever, we're divorced. We were best friends for 11 years before getting married. So, this was someone who I trusted her opinion. She's an amazing artist. Like, and her mom's an artist. My daughter's an artist, the whole family of artists. So I bring this thing to her. We're watching TV and she flips through the screen. We pause the TV. She reads through it real quick. No facial expression changes, nothing. Hands it back to me and says it's okay and turns the TV back on. And I am crushed, like absolutely. Like I spent months on this thing. I don't even know what I'm doing. And it, like, to me, it's the most amazing thing I could have done. And so the very next day I go to Best Buy, I buy an iPad and I'm like, all right, we're going to upgrade it. We're going to get good software. We're going to learn how to do this. And I come back and I'm like, fine, if it's not that great, then make me great. And I literally would draw and let her erase, cross things out. And I think because it wasn't something that I got immediate, like, attaboy for, I was like, okay, now challenge accepted. Let's do this. And it just, that is what created issue 1. That became issue 0 that was never released. And then issue 1, I started really drawing, and I got about 24 pages, 26 pages done. And one of the guys in my group I was like, I've learned how to draw, but I don't know how to color. And he was like, well, just, go to Kickstarter and raise some money and pay a colorist. So I go to Facebook, I find a colorist. I'm like, cool. So I need about $500. Well, all my research for Kickstarter said, don't ask for anything less than 2,500. I'm like, okay, well, I'll ask for 2,500. If I get 500, I'm happy. Didn't realize that if it didn't fund, I didn't get the money.
Right.
So we go to Kickstarter. I raised like $700 or $800, and I didn't do any promotion. I didn't have an Instagram. I had no website, nothing. Just it was. Lori's heard this before. It was one of those build it and they will come moments.
Mhm.
And I did get 30 backers with no promotion. Very little communication on Instagram and Facebook, and it didn't fund. I was kind of like upset, but at the same time, give it a try. If it didn't work, figure something else out. And I'm sitting on Facebook talking to a friend of mine. He's independently wealthy, and he goes, hey, what's this comic thing you're doing? And I was like, me and my friends are doing this, and it's something I just kind of want to throw out there and see what happens. And he's like, well, everything you do, you put your all into. So how much do you need? And I was like, really, I need about $500 to get this book done. He sends me $500 over Facebook. I didn't even know you could send money on Facebook, but apparently you can. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? He goes, I'm sitting on a private jet. I got into marijuana fields real early. So drug money paid for a crit one. So that's really what, and then in retrospect, looking back, I always think back to that moment when he's like, everything you do, you put your all into. And so, that really inspired me as a person to go, hey, if this guy is just going to throw $500 at me, let's keep going. And so a year later, I did issue 2. I did 3 and 4, and then 0 all in 1 year. It just became this big, big thing. And I love it. I love seeing my friends' actions come to life. I love sending like panels back and forth with them, and they're like, that didn't happen. And I send a recording. I'm like, yes, it did. You got your ass. And we have so much fun bringing those characters back to life. And when you go into Dungeons and Dragons, I'm in like those communities as well. And after the first or second book came out, one of my players took it to one of his other games, and the DM was like, what's this? He's like, oh, it's a comic book of our campaign. And the guy was like, man, everybody says they're going to do a book, they're going to do a comic. And my friend goes, yeah, but my DM, he's the dumbass that did it. So now we're 6 years in. I've got a full publishing company built around it. I've made friends. I mean, both of you, it's been quite a life-changing event. Just me sitting down, trying to prove to my ex-wife that I could draw.
Right. But I mean, that's a good, that's a good way to jump on it and do it. Like, a lot of times we'll get these folks at cons, and they'll ask those questions. Well, how do you get this book done? Or how do you get better at art? Or how do you get better at this, that, or the other? And, we always tell people, there's no super secret or anything like that. It's just straight up, get off your ass and grind it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, so you're proof that formula works. And, you're also proof that you don't have to necessarily crutch on the easy sales with the borderline porn and everything else to get a book sold, because people lack the intelligence and the skill to write an actual story. But so kudos to you on that. I mean, you took what she said, and I love the fact that she did it that way, because and I agree with you. I think too many people, because they're scared to hurt a feeling that oh, that's wonderful, oh, that's great. And, unless you're kind of challenged a little bit, whether you're challenging yourself or a spouse or a friend, I mean, you can't grow, No. So, I mean, and the only way you can see those leaps in a short time frame, you have to grind it out hardcore every day. So, yeah, so kudos to you on that. And congrats on the books and stuff that you got under there. What's up, Miss Lori?
I want to disagree with that. I think if she's an artist and she has art in her family, she knows the value of critique, and she gave you the most apathetic response, which is a slap in the face. I agree with you that was just rude, where she didn't even want to be bothered, like no expression. No, and I've talked about this on other podcasts, like that lack of feedback can be deafening. And just as how I want to say, where it's almost just as bad to put something out and have no one react. You know what I mean? And so when she gave it back to me, I was like, "That's great, honey," and went back to watching TV. Like, excuse my French, fuck that. You know?
No, see, I'm on the other side of it because I here's your good story. I was listening to Frank Miller do an interview. Frank Miller, and he was talking about the first time he met Neil Adams, and he shows Neil Adams his portfolio, and Neil Adams he's looking, and he just looks at Frank and he goes, "You should never draw again." Hands him his portfolio back. And that's the end of the conversation. So some people like to label Neil as an asshole, but I look at Neil as, in my opinion, the way he did that with Frank. I mean, yeah, could it have been nicer? Sure. But in that situation, Neil did one of two things. He either lit a fire under your ass and you prove him wrong, which is what Frank did, or you vanish because you can't handle the pressure. You can't handle a hard critique. And you don't waste your time. So maybe her going, okay, that's good. She was like, either he'll take that and light a fire under his ass, or he won't waste his time on it. He'll go back to doing whatever he was doing. So I don't know, man.
I have better.
I think that's still better than going, it sucks.
I mean, you're not wrong. I remember when I showed it to the guys in the group, and they were just like, "Oh, that's cool," and they just didn't think I was going to do anything with it, so they didn't really give me feedback. They just thought, "Oh, Chris is just drawing." When I hit issue 4 was when I got Robert Nix involved, and Robert, I've looked up to his artwork. He had kind of given me some things back and forth, and I just loved his panel layout. So I said, "Hey, would you mind helping me out? Because I want to grow." I've reached a point now where, she's not able to give me feedback. She's not a comic book person, and I want to keep challenging myself. Yeah. And I would send him page after page, and there were pages, man, where someone who I really look up to is redlining, crossing out. Like, he would, what WTF is this? And
whoa,
like,
it's getting feisty.
Brutal. But I asked him, I think, I pride myself in the fact there's no ego in art. Like, for me to be able to grow, I have to put the ego to the side and say, this isn't good. I might think it's great. I might think it's the best thing I've ever drawn. But if I have someone who I look up to look at it and say, hey, this doesn't work. Right. Okay, thank you. Last book, he did message me. He's like, I think you're good. And I was like, well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm still going to send you stuff. And I still get feedback. And, the guys in Homebrewed Comics, I've got Dan Price, he's a phenomenal artist. And then what I like is Drew, who writes Caspian Porter. He comes from a different perspective where he's not an artist. He's a writer and a reader. So I get a different perspective from him. And then, Dennis Valencia, who I also respect as an artist, give me different types of feedback. So having community in comics, I think, is wonderful. Like, I see people post up all the time, which cover, when you guys get your A, B, or C from your artist. And I love that kind of stuff too, because you might like A, but everybody else likes B. And I mean, you're going to put B because you want that. The cover sells the book. So I really, at first, was very intimidated by the community, but now it's like, it's wonderful. And I think since COVID, we had this influx in the community. I think it like hit this big peak, and then it leveled out. And I think the people that are left, like, really creating, are talented, they're driven, and they're inspirational. There for a while, it was very toxic, and everything was getting thrown around. And like the last 6 months, I was just telling one of my buddies, I was like, I love how I can go on Facebook and it's much less toxic now than it was. And maybe I'm just in the wrong groups and I'm missing out somewhere, but the groups I'm in are just much less toxic now than they were, which is wonderful.
I just ran over a lot of people with my car, Chris. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah, some of the toxic goes away once you get to stand in front of them at a show. It's amazing how polite they get at that point. But so with Crit, because you're on, let's see, I believe issue number 10?
Yes.
Okay. How many issues do you have planned for Crit? Is it an ongoing series or
It'll end at 42. And
42?
if you're a fan of sci-fi,
Magic
you'll get
number?
yes,
The meaning of life.
the meaning of life.
See, I
Yep.
was thinking about baseball, so
Oh.
No,
It's from
Great.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
we played for 5 years, and when I was planning it out towards the end, I really like broke it down, and I was like, we can do this in 42 issues. And
42.
so that was around, I want to say 4 years in. So about a year before we ended, I had a goal to end where I could do it in 42 issues.
Okay, cool.
You know, the little Easter egg of a sci-fi nerd.
Yeah. Now, as far as is that the only IP you have right now? As far as your IP is Crit, or
No, I have another one. It's Mr. Wizard and Friends, and it's also a D&D themed game that I turned into what is really a TV show that exists within Crit. It is Greek and Norse gods have taken over they've inhabited the bodies of socialites, presidents, like very famous people. That's how they get their power, is through social media and people worshiping them. You know, so they've pushed every other religion out of the world, and it's just they're taking all of your worship power through social media. And Mr. Wizard and Friends, with the help of Kanye West, are taking back the world from these gods via trying to get more followers on social media.
okay. You got to have now make sure y'all draw him with the giant shoes. He has to have the giant rubber boots on. So.
I call him Wanye Kest in the book because, you know, rights.
Obviously, don't get sued by Kanye West, please. He might show up and deliver it to you.
Is Justin Bieber, and it ends with a female version of Roddy Piper body slamming him into hell.
And his name is and her name is Ronnie Pooper.
Rhonda Pooper.
Rhonda, yeah.
Rhonda Pooper.
It is so ridiculously tongue-in-cheek, stupid, just fun. It was the first game I ever was a dungeon master for. We had no rules. I just took these Greek gods and said, okay, well, here's the power. This makes sense. Okay, let's play. And it was just for me to kind of get my feet wet being a DM. And I don't know how we went from something that was semi-serious to begin with to just wrestling matches in Australia over the portal of hell. And it was just hilarious. And so when I started doing Crit, I was like, it would be kind of cool if this was a TV show. So in the game, when we were playing, I would throw in like little Easter eggs that they were watching this show in the background. And so that essentially is going to make its way into Crit somewhere. But yeah, I'm going to release Mr. Wizard and Friends. Robert drew the first 8 pages, but he is kind of on hiatus from art for a while. So I'm going to find another artist that can complement his art and go from there.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you can get that back going here soon then. Because people are loving the comedy stuff. I mean, like with Chris Hayes and, you know, the Nut Brigade. So a lot of that's picking up a little bit of steam right now. So that might be a really fun book. So
we all need to laugh more. We all need
Everybody's
to
got to laugh.
Huh?
I said, everybody's got to laugh. It's good medicine.
Yes. Kind of feel the whole range of emotions.
So now are you, because when I met, let's see if I remember correctly, I think I met you in New York or I met you in Denver, or which show was
Baltimore. You met me in person in Baltimore. Yep.
Okay. Now are you with Crit going on right now? Because Crit, when does Crit number 10? When does it go to Kickstarter?
April 22nd. I've got the signups are now. I can get
yeah. If you got it up and going, put that link in chat for everybody, so that way they can click on the notify me. That way they can get over there and grab my awesome just absolutely so cute.
Yes,
cover.
Love that cover. Dan Dan wanted to do one with the cat, and he saw yours. He's like, I'm gonna do something else.
Snooze you lose. Snooze you lose. Gotta be fast around here, man. I'm fast as hell, boy. So with Crit coming on and doing with the new one. Oh, let me copy that. Let's see. Will it let me copy and paste that? It wouldn't let you paste it? That's weird.
Can I put it in the
No,
actual?
I don't think it will. I think you have to do it, William.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I
I
have to
got you.
connect.
Make sure you jump over. You sign up on crit number 10 to be notified when the Kickstarter goes live. What was the date again, Chris?
April 22nd.
22nd.
So
Okay.
yeah, I've got a whole slew of covers. I've got yours. I had everybody in Homebrewed Comics contributed one. Del Barris, who he used to work for Marvel back in the day. He's got some awesome stuff coming up too. I just got VK Marion. He did a cover for me. He's on Green Lantern right now. Just tons of them. Yeah.
How many total covers are you gonna have? Do you
I was
remember
inspired by you when I was working on your Kickstarters, and I was like, it's issue 10. I'll do 10 covers, and then 10 covers quickly became 13.
Oh God.
Well,
You
I
guys are
don't
crazy.
do covers.
Yeah.
I don't draw my own. So the last cover I did was issue 1, and I haven't touched a cover since. I've done some covers for some of my friends, and they were just talking to me one day. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give my cover a shot. And so the villain in this book is named Staccato Mamba. He is based off of the singer of Queen. So he's a very eccentric, flamboyant singer. And if you know D&D, he's like got bard capabilities. So when he sings, he controls the crowd around him. And I won't give away how it ends, but it ends, damaged vocal cords is pretty much the goal here. And it takes place in a coffee shop. So I drew a cover of, inspired by Queen, and just I was like, you know what, we'll do a baker's dozen. We'll do 13 covers. And so I've got 2 left besides Ken Marion's that I got to show off. So one of them's a wraparound, my colorist. He's an amazing artist, and he was like, I want to throw my ring in the gauntlet. And I'm like, you got to color the pages, you got all this other stuff. He did this wraparound that's inspired by Street Fighter that he's been working on for like 2 months, and he showed it to me, and I was like, dang, so this book is just going to blow up in cover. You're going to have so many to choose from. But yeah, you inspired me when I was putting your stuff together. I was like, he has so many cool covers. I was like, I want cool covers. So
yeah, I like a lot of the indie guys don't really want to do that. They'll have like maybe 1 or 2 or 2 or 3, but like ever since Cycle Sound number 1, we've bounced everywhere from like 7 guest cover artists to like hell, I think one time we had like 9 or 10. Something like that. I don't know. I like the variety, because if you've ever looked at any of the Kickstarters, yeah, there's a few on there that's in similar to my realm of art, but then we have some stuff on there that's completely different than anything I draw. And I don't know. The fans seem to like it. I sell a lot of the all cover bundles on the Kickstarters. So they like it, they seem to like the variety. So I mean, I think that's a good thing you're doing. Yeah, and Lori can probably chime in on that because she has a few on hers. So
What?
yeah,
I don't go crazy like you guys.
Private chats.
I try to stick to like 3 or 4 covers. When you're like chime in about that, I was like, I'm nowhere close.
That's what I'm referring. Like you kind of keep yours on the narrow side versus where I'm doing, on this bigger side. So you have that perspective from that side of it, is what I was kind of referring to.
Yeah, I don't try to do a ton of covers. I like to pick who I think fits best with the issue.
Yeah.
And then I can usually tell which covers are going to sell well on the platform. And then, I'm usually right. You know what I mean? So what's the point of doing 10 covers if I know like everybody's going to get these 2?
Yeah. And I do agree with that, because one of a lot of things, like we get messages, and I'm sure you do too. We get messages all the time from, amateur artists or unpublished artists that want to do a cover. And a lot of people don't really realize, when we do put someone on one of the books that's never been published, that doesn't really have a fan base, like, if we pay them to do a cover, or let's say they don't want money, they want some comps instead, which we have that happen sometimes. Oh, you don't got to pay me, just, give me like 10 or 15 books when it's printed. And that's cool. I did that when I first started. But the sad thing is that 9 times out of 10, you don't even recoup the money you gave them in comps. Like, so I get why a lot of people don't do it. I completely understand it. You know, you kind of want to use the same, you know, sadly it turns into the same kind of handful of people, because at least you know, you'll regenerate what you paid them or what you gave them in comp. So I definitely completely understand why some people will use 2 artists or 3 artists at, you know, at most. And I may go to doing some of that where I only have maybe 4 artists besides myself, you know, because again, I mean, this stuff is not cheap. So you know, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But of course, on Path of Pale Rider, because what's you at? What we're on issue 9.
Yeah, we'll be on 9 this fall. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll just do 9 covers.
Your fans would be so mad. They're like, I don't know which one to pick.
Dude, you heard me, like I told you that in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for my fans sometimes because I drop so much stuff.
That and yours and mine, our Kickstarters ended like 2 days.
Yep. Or at least within 2 weeks of one another at most.
No, I thought ours ended like mine ended and then yours ended.
Yeah, that was so what threw the monkey. I feel so bad for them when we realized it, because what threw the monkey wrench in that, you ran yours for 30 days. So we intended to have it planned out. We were like, okay, Lori's going live on her Kickstarter 2 weeks before I do. Perfect window. Then I launched mine and I didn't notice. Lori did 30 days. I did 20. So we literally ended within 2 days of one another. I felt so bad for them.
That is
and like
a bundle of William covers.
Yeah. I felt so
and then they're all broke and we heard it.
So we promise in the future we will do our very best not to let that happen again. Because like I said, I usually run my Kickstarters for 20 days. I started doing that on the last few, and I think they just work better for me that way. But so what have you thought about you know, you being on issue number 10 of Crit, like we were talking about on the last show, this day and age, being able to get past 1 book in indie is a pretty good feat by itself. But you've been able to do 10 issues of yours. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, the fans seem to be digging it.
It's weird. Like some stuff hits me in waves. So last year I celebrated my 5th year of doing Crit. And I thought that was like a really big deal for me. I was like, you know, 5 years in indie comics is a big deal because a lot of people really didn't make it past the 2nd year. And a lot of people don't make it past 2nd book. And a lot of people don't know this, but when I really started in indie comics, I was working for a board game distributor, like War Games. And a lot of my clients were comic adjacent stores, comic stores, hobby stores. Right. So I talked to a lot of these stores. And when I was talking about indie, they're like, talk to me when you get to issue 3 or 4. You know, like most indie comics don't hit issue 2, let alone issue 3. And I really didn't understand because I was doing it at the time. But there's so much more than just the idea and then creating the book. Then you got to fulfill the book, and then you got to promote the next. And there's always the next thing. You're never done. It's a never-ending cycle in comics. And when I look back last year, I was really proud, you know, being in 5 years. And then when I looked at this 10th book, I was like, that's actually really awesome. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I have so many covers is because I contacted all my friends. I'm like, hey, do you want to toss in? I just threw out like kind of the bat signal, was like anybody that wants to contribute. And I didn't expect, honestly, as many people. I was honored, you know, like when people are like, yeah, I want to. A buddy of mine who his life has been upside down 3 ways in the past 4 years, he's still working on a book that hasn't been released. And I said, hey, I'm going to put this out there because you're one of the first people to ever back Crit. I met you because of Kickstarter. I'm going to offer it, but if you say no, it's fine. He was like, I got you. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to draw this. And so like, you know, just having those people show up for book 10, it made me realize like, this is a big deal, you know, in our community, within my friends and my fan base. It's like, we've got 10 books. And I look also at when I go to the comic book store and I think most Marvel books don't make it past issue 6 now. Yeah. So, you know, it's great to see. I love seeing when I like when I see Lori stuff or people in the community that put out these issue 8, issue 9, issue 10, they're getting up there. And I think back to 2020, 2021, when people were like, oh, I've got this big plan and we've got like 5 different titles and they're all going to tie together in 20 books. And now I'm like, I just want to, I want to be that Todd McFarlane, where I just stick to my title. Let me stick to my title and just drive that thing as far as it'll go. And I'm just happy that 5-6 years in, people are still asking me questions about the characters. Or Lori's probably heard me say this. I think one of the best moments in my comic time was one of the players in the game and one of the characters in the book in real life was going through a really, really hard time. And I had just shot him some fan art. And I said, hey, somebody drew your character. And he called me. He was like, dude, today was like a really rough day. And this just made everything better.
Good.
Like, that hit me really hard. And then one of the other characters, he's got 2 kids, and he comes home and he shows them, hey, look, I'm a superhero. And the kid goes, you don't look like a superhero, Dad. He's like, I dropped 50 pounds. I'm working out, Chris. I need you to write me a workout plan. Like,
thanks a lot. But again, it's that critique, right? It's that criticism that motivates us to do.
Nothing's worse than your kid saying you don't look like a superhero as a dad. Oh man.
Oh,
and now he runs like 5Ks and stuff all the time, and he's a coach and stuff. And I'm like, that's just awesome. The way it all, like the way that this stuff bleeds into other parts of our lives,
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I think, we talked about this before about, one of the things we see happen a lot is artists and creators not appreciating their fans and not taking care of their fans and stuff and making them a priority. But it's things like that it shows you how we affect people, whether it's through the writing or through the artwork. We talk about that you should treat the fans better, and because we're not like a priority buy, but we are a bit of a necessity buy in a way, if that makes sense, because it's an escape for a lot of people. So like that being that way with that, that guy might still be, kind of crappy with his health, like you said. I mean, what that interaction alone may give that guy, tons more years with his family that he may not have got if he'd stayed on the other, trail he was on. So, that's a good story. I mean, that's a good point. We need to create for the sake of creating, because you never know who it's going to hit and how it affects them. I mean, yeah, we want to get paid. Yes, we want our stuff to be successful. Yes, we want to feel like we're giving and we're getting in return. I get that. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing this seriously, it is a business. But, I think a lot of people lose that. Let me create, let me write, let me draw because I need to. And then you get to interact with these lives and you get to make these differences that may seem minor to us or minor to other people, but it's huge to them.
Yeah. Like you said, it's escapism, and we're not a priority, like you said, a necessity for escapism. And a lot of, like, I talk to people all the time, and it's like they're going to go to Kickstarter and spend $8, $10, $15, $20 on your one book when they could go buy Spider-Man for $4.
Yeah.
Like, I'm blessed, I'm honored, I'm thankful that someone will check out my book every year for 10, 20, 30. I have some people that have continually picked up the top tier of every campaign, which is $150, because they want the energy drink, or like I'm doing coffee this time, like all the cool things. And that was me when I was buying Spawn, like, oh, I got to get the figure and I got to get this. And then, like, to have people that come back and do that, like, that's an honor. That my little book, something that I feel is small to me, is something, hey, let me know when your next one comes out, because I want that top tier. I want those shot glasses or whatever you do. And it's like, man, that's awesome. We're blessed, really, because like I said, Spider-Man, Batman, they hit the shelves every other week. They can go spend their $3, $4, get their fill, but they come back to Kickstarter, to indie, to the stuff that I think when we talk about indie comics, and what I love about this community is the passion that goes into these books. There's so much raw creative, like, passion in there, and it's every creator that I've talked to that's continuing on, and you ask them, oh, like, what's your next book about, and they just dive right in.
Yeah.
It's great to see. It's great to experience, and honestly, like I've said before, being here, watching people grow throughout the years.
Yes.
It's been, how many times have I talked to you, Lori, in the past 6 years?
Can't count. It's amazing. And I know, like, you've been on the brew so many times, and I think even like the last 2 times you've been on the brew, I haven't been there. Like the 2 times I went on vacation, and they both fell when you were on the brew, and I was like, he's gonna think I'm doing this on purpose. But
no, I mean, we all
I'm on tonight, so I can talk to Chris. But yeah, I mean, and I say that all the time too, Chris, where it's like, that's the best part of the Tuesday morning brew for me, is not only do I get to hang out and meet new people, but I get to touch base with my friends and colleagues every so often and be like, man, let's catch up. What have you been working on for the last year? So that we can cheer each other on, watch each other grow, and be like, do you remember back when,
right.
Like, it's so much fun to do that. And I forgot that you had that energy drink. I totally did.
Yeah, I actually still have one unopened.
Do you?
Yeah. I just
let Evan Davis find out. He keeps asking me to do an energy drink, and I keep telling him no.
It's expensive.
I was like, it sounds intimidating to me. I do the hot sauce, and that keeps people happy. That's what I'm doing.
He's got
coffee.
He's got the Chris juice.
Stop it. We're not going to rename his stuff, okay?
I don't think marketing would like the Chris juice.
we'll just take a book out of that one movie. We'll just call it Booty Sweat.
Stop.
Booty Sweat. Yep.
William.
It's such a great movie. But no, you're right. It's really fun seeing people get excited about their projects. I mean, every time somebody asks me to do a cover, I ask them to tell me about their story and their characters. And a lot of times and here's the, for me, for the artist, all I need to do is see what 2 of the characters looks like. What's the main characters look like? I don't need to know about your story. But I asked them to tell me about their story because I want to see how passionate they get about it. If they tell me, oh, my story is this, and that's like the end of it. Well, I'm really busy right now. Maybe touch base with me in the future about doing a cover with you. Because if you're not excited about your own damn project,
yeah,
I don't have no energy to do it because I don't necessarily need to do it. So, so even my decisions on doing a cover for someone is really based off of how they explain the book to me. And a lot of you guys, like the first time I talked to you about Crit doing a cover, I mean, you went on this whole multi-paragraph, explanation thing about the characters and the stories and sending me pictures of what they look like. And you went on this thing about who the characters were. That's what makes it interesting to me. So, I mean, I agree with you. It's a whole lot better to see people get excited about their projects.
Well, it's what, it's what, I don't want to say sells. It's what catches your audience. When you are passionate about your book, now they want to see what that's about. When I talk about Crit and I say, oh, it's a superhero D&D game turned into a comic book. I sit at Comic Cons when I'm doing my table. I'm like, hey, do you like D&D? And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I turned mine into a comic. And that they're like, oh, I play D&D. What does that look like? And now you can kind of, nerd out with someone who has the same passion behind it.
I guarantee you that anybody that has played D&D and has experienced that as a group, some of just outlandish situations that happen because the dice don't go your way, or like the DM has something up their sleeves, or you know what I mean? I play D&D on Thursdays with the group, and there's been so many funny situations that we're all like, man, we should turn this into a book. And it's just like, when you think about that, and that is exactly what Chris's book is. You know what I mean? Like, it's that good time. It's that time where the dice don't roll right and everything goes wrong. And it's like, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't. It's just how it happens in the story. It's awesome.
We were playing, there were times they would do something and I would just put my head down and everyone's like, oh, he's mad. And then someone would be like, no, he's trying to figure out how he's going to draw that. There's
Yeah,
a
like,
moment,
okay.
yeah, there's a moment in this book where we argued because there's a coffee cannon. They just decided out of nowhere they had this coffee cannon, because they're fighting in a coffee shop, and we're having fun, and I missed the line where they were like, "Yeah," and I pulled the coffee cannon out, and I'm just going through, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a D6," and I'm like, I missed the whole conversation. I'm like, "Wait a minute, what? You have what?" He's like, "Oh, he made me a coffee," and they slid it under the table to me, and they all BS me the whole way, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll let it happen in the game, but I don't know if I'm going to put this in the book. And so I'm drawing now, and I called the guys, and I was like, I think I found a way to put the coffee cannon in without it, messing up all the story.
The entire story.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you think of this? And they're like, you got to do it. Just lean into the zaniness of it, please. Like, let the coffee cannon exist. It's such a Ninja Turtles move. It's not even funny. And I'm like, it could happen. Let's just have some fun. And like those are the moments in the book where like when we're lettering, it's a team process when I go to lettering, because I get them involved. Hey, like, this is what you said. I still want it to have your tone. You can't change any, like, it has to still fit, but like if you want to say it better. And
imagine a macaroni art cover chat. Ridiculous. Sorry.
So there's just like some lines in there where we hear them again for the first time in a couple of years, and we just die laughing.
Yeah.
One of my favorites in issue 4, we were lettering the book, and I was listening to the recording, and they played this music because they were driving their van into combat, and so everybody had a different song they wanted to listen to, and I was like, just yeah, okay, there's music, cool. So we go to do the book, and they're like, well, we need to pick a song, and they couldn't decide on a song again. So I just put insert song, and I forget what art they were arguing over the artist and everything else. And it just became, when we were reading the lettering back, it became, oh, insert song is the best song ever. And I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious. So now the reader can just insert a song, and they get into an argument over this insert song line. And I had a few people that messaged me, and they're like, man, that was hilarious. Like, and it's like, insert song is by the greatest artist of all time. How do you not know what insert song is? And like, one guy was like, I read that page like 4 times just to see if it was maybe an error, but no, you left that on purpose. I'm like, no, it was totally on purpose. Like, we got to the lettering, we totally forgot, we kept it in there, and when we were reading, we all died laughing, and I was like, it's got to stay. Because if 4 of us are laughing right now, 4 other people are going to laugh too.
Right.
Yeah. Now you need your T-shirt that says "insert song."
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to do that now. I hadn't never thought of that. Look at.
But what is it in the van though? What format? Is it an 8-track? Is it cassette tape? Is it a CD? Like, how far back does the van go?
It's got to be a CD player.
CD player. Okay.
Because it's got to have skip. You got to have that. You hit a bump, it's got to skip.
Yeah.
So okay, so you need a CD on a shirt. This is insert.
I can do it.
Generic band, best of all
time. I'm going to
time.
work on that now. Actually, after I finish up the stuff I'm working on for you tonight, I'll get that done.
Not for me. You working on something for me? That would be awesome. What are you working on for me, Chris?
No, he's actually, for those that don't know, Chris actually does incredibly good graphic design stuff and everything. He's done I think last 2 Kickstarters, designing all the advertisement stuff for the Kickstarter. Has done a great job. He's actually also he's taken our stuff and he's designing our wedding invitations for Andrea and I.
Really?
Yep. So he's doing that too. That's probably what he's referring to.
Yeah, I've been I work in taxes for my day job, and it's end of tax season, so you can just imagine I don't sleep.
Yeah. Now make sure on everyone's paperwork, when you give them their paperwork at the end, you put your little card in there that links to your Kickstarter. You got to say, hey, make sure
you could put that on the back of William's wedding invitations.
On the bottom I can put my Kickstarter on your wedding invitation.
Right. but yeah, so you put the little note in there that says, hey, for next year's tax discounts, make sure you back this Kickstarter. Tell me to get some tax breaks next year.
Cross marketing.
You can have that
my company would love
QR code somewhere on his invitations too, right, William?
That's right, exactly. But and don't be afraid. Just so you know, now I'm going to sell advertisement spots on my suit for the wedding. So you guys, it's kind of like F1,
like NASCAR.
Yeah, like NASCAR. Yeah, we put little patches on the suit So, you know, the bigger the more money you pay, the bigger your Kickstarter patch is.
I remember when UFC did that with the shorts, and I was like, really?
What?
Who wants monster across their ass? You know what I mean?
Right.
They do that to women's clothing all the time. So
I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, how many
another day for us. Pink.
Hollister back in the day.
Come on.
Juicy and Pink. That was the two that like you
Stupid.
saw the most common. So for those that don't know, now is that another part of what you do? Like, do you offer that as a service also that people can hire you to do other Kickstarters? I know with you and I, we want to do some trade outs. So
so I went to school for graphic design. That's more of like a case by case because I have so much on my plate as it is. And for a while I was taking, graphic design clients, things like that. But just like you said, people would come to me with these and even the art world, like we get people that, oh, I want this, and they don't really have the correct idea. So when they leave too much of it to you, and then you go back to them, and then you're back and forth, and it's like it becomes a little bit too much.
Not what I had in my head. Well, that's exactly what you described.
Right. When you go to the tattoo artist, you're like, I want this. And then they put something else there. It's like, well, you described this. It's like, oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh well. But I did it for a little while. I was taking on some things, and I decided, I was like, you know what? It's just going to be for me, people that I trust and, know what they want, or like I can vibe with too, because I have a certain style that I like to do. And like your stuff matches really well with what I like. I'm a metal guy, I hardcore metal, stuff like that. So when someone has that kind of energy, I'm like, that's easy for me. But when someone like, I was actually designing something for my girlfriend for Valentine's Day, and I had to be very elegant with it. But luckily she's also into hardcore music, so I could have some fun with it. But I wanted to be like brutal and elegant in the same tone. And I looked at it and I was like, the lettering is so not me, but she's going to love it. And, you get people who are like, I really want bubbly letters. And I'm like, I don't see that. But yeah, so if someone were to message me and I vibe with them, kind of like, when you're picking a cover, it's a situation like that. Yeah. I don't know what I like, but I know what I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's definitely can be a lot of back and forth with some people that they just can't seem to describe what they're trying to get, and it can definitely be a tricky thing when it comes to the graphic art design. So it's relatively easy on like the comic cover side, or at least it is in my opinion. When I hire artists to do projects for me, I don't really do hand holding or anything like that. I'll tell them, here's the character. I'm hiring you because I like what you're doing and I trust you to do what you're doing, and give me that character. And knock on wood, that's kind of how it's been with like me doing covers for people. They trust me enough to go, okay, you know what you're doing. I like your style. Here's what the character looks like. Knock yourself out. And for me, that's a lot of fun. Now, some artists don't like that. They want to kind of be, walked through it a little bit, but I like it. I like the freedom of it. What about with you when you're doing a lot of the cover stuff or the graphic artist stuff? Do you like it when it's a little bit more walk through or a little bit more, knock yourself out?
It's hard when someone is I've worked with both types, and I respect both too, because when you're working with someone's creation, like if someone were to draw my characters, I've seen Calibur's face mask 5 different ways, and I never correct somebody because it's an artist interpretation. I personally like, if someone's going to give me a project, I like having a little bit of room for interpretation.
Yeah.
But I've also done some stuff for people. I did a fan art, and one guy was like, well, that's not right. This isn't right. And I'm like, okay. I mean, out of respect, this is your creation, and if you want it to be exactly this, I can't disagree with you because you put your passion into that. I just think that that's harder to work with, because when you draw your character, the little nuances that you put into every little stroke. But for me, I see something different. Like art is very interpretive. So it can be hard with someone who is very, oh, that line is in the wrong spot. Oh, his eyes are more round. Like all these little things that maybe you pick up on. But for me, my style lends this way. So I would prefer someone that gives me a little bit of artistic creativity. But I'll always try my hardest to respect the original design.
Right. Yeah, now that's something I do try my best not to do too much of. Like if somebody's got a character and I'm drawing their character, yes, it'll be in my style. It may have a little bit more of a hard feel to it, but I try not to change what the character looks like. For me, the thing I don't enjoy is if I get that person that wants to handhold and turn their hand this way, turn their arm this way. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm I'll be respectful to your character and I'll do it to the best of my ability. But like, I don't like that nitpick handhold stuff. But there are, like I said, there are some artists, they do like that. And for those that may not have seen what he does graphic wise, here's an example of what he had done for me. And I mean, I thought I loved the lettering, I loved the design, I loved everything. He, like I said, he's done like the last two or three Kickstarter, at least last two.
I think I've done. I think this was the third one, the omnibus, because I believe I did the last Psycho Sal. Then I did the
Rise of the Mummy.
Rise of the Mummy. Yep, Rise of the Mummy, and then I did the omnibus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Which do you think you like? Which do you think you like more? You think you like when you've done the cover before? Because you said you've only done that one cover, right? So the crit.
I've only drawn the
like
drawing my own cover.
Yeah. You just did the one, right? I mean, is there why? So let me ask you that question because I know someone's going to ask that since they heard that comment. What's made, other than busy, what's made you not want to do a cover for each one of the other books? Because you did the first one.
I did the first one, and then it's like a tattoo for me. I don't draw my own tattoos, and even when I was younger, my dad is a phenomenal artist. I was like, I never want someone I know or someone I can see their art continually. I don't want them to draw my tattoo because then I see the better art they do in a year and I'm like, oh man, my
Gotcha.
And so the cover to me has always been, it represents the best that artist could do in that time period. For me, I look back, I'm like, I want to redraw it. Like I constantly look at issue 1 and I'm like, I want to redraw this, but I don't because it represents the best that I could do at that time. And it's very hard. Yeah. So there's that piece. And then there's the piece of like, there's so many talented people that I know and they capture the core of what crit is. So like, I'm a big advocate for the cover art. Doesn't necessarily need to be the same as the interior of the book, but it has to have some kind of stylistic consistency, Now, do they? You did a cover for me with the guys running, and when I put that cover next to my art in the book, I'm like, okay, I'm not giving somebody stick figures with $1 million cover, right. So I'm confident in that. I've always wanted, and it inspires me when I see someone do an amazing cover. It pushes my interior work that much harder.
Yeah.
So there is parts of it being busy. There's parts of it where it's like, I'm afraid that I won't like my cover in a year. Yeah. And then the other part of like being inspired by the other people. But for this book, like I said, I hadn't drawn a cover since 10. I've done one for Caspian Porter versus Celestial Knight, which we published last year. And I was really proud of that cover. There's Ray. Really proud of that one. I've done some for a couple other friends of mine. And I looked at them and I was like, I get covers. And people also that aren't in comics don't realize sequential art and cover art are two completely different things. And I have worked so much in sequential art that when I go to a splash page sometimes, I'm like, I need a minute. I need to get away from drawing for a little bit and come back because I'm so used to this face this way, this angle, and it's tough. But drawing this cover, I said to Dan Price, because he was one of the ones that really was like, you got to draw a cover. You just got to do it. And I went back to him and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing it. And a lot of people also don't know this. And she strictly told me not to put her name on it because my daughter's very shy, but she helped me color the cover.
Oh,
so cool. She's phenomenal. My daughter blows me out of the water with art. And so I was coloring. I was like, hey, what do you think of this? And so I tapped it over to her and she's working on it and she's doing some shading and some lighting. and sends it back to me. And I was like, oh, wow, you just fixed this thing in an hour. And she's like, don't tell anybody. She's like, she worked on, we did Homebrewed Zero, where I drew 1,000,000,001 coffee beans in 6 pages. And it's literally the cat Samedi fighting magical coffee beans. It's hilarious. And I wrote and drew that book so she could color my work. We've always talked about doing collaborations. And I think her working on that was great. But when I was like putting her under pressure with stuff, she's like, let me do it on my own time moving forward. Like she likes doing it, but I don't think she likes when people ask her about it because she gets real shy. And this is a kid whose art is showcased in our town halls all the time. And I had to take her to an award ceremony. The city chose her art as one of their cards for the year or something. And I was like, you get all these awards, but you don't want to be on the cover of my book. She's like, no, because then your friend's going to ask me about it and I don't want to answer them. And I'm like, okay, that's fair.
She's like, so no, people are going to want to hire me.
So when you see it, yeah, she had a hand in the coloring. So really happy that I can continue to do stuff like that with her too. I think, those connections that I build family wise, friend wise, like Dan and Ray, talk about, D&D. Ray has a book that's based on D&D too. And that's how we started talking, because I was like, wait a minute, your book's based on D&D? My book's based on D&D. We should be best friends. Start a band, And Dan,
what questions you got for him?
Oh, I get to talk now. Okay. I would love to know.
You need to learn how to speak up.
I don't want to interrupt people. You guys were just having a flow, so I was just no, me, I could fill a whole 2-hour show by myself. So, I don't need to take over this show too. Chris, I want to know, is there a genre? Hey, watch it. Is there a genre that's on your bucket list that you haven't gotten to yet?
OnlyFans.
Like a genre of art or
of writing. Like, is there a type of book? Like William and I have both done horror. I've done Western. I've done one superhero.
So in the next within the next year, there will be a pulp story that I'm working on with Dan Price, actually, in the comments. We are it's one of these things I can't really talk about. I was never into pulp.
What defines pulp?
Like old, so Tarzan, very pulpy.
Okay.
Like those older stories where it's very either damsel in distress or
gotcha.
Very serial stuff from
I was going to say the old serials. Yeah, so like Indiana Jones style.
Right. The Phantom is very pulpy.
Yeah, okay.
So we're doing a pulp story that has some sci-fi and supernatural elements in it. And then also Drew who does Caspian Porter, him and I are working on a straight, like hard sci-fi, which I'm excited for because I'm a huge fan of like Warhammer and StarCraft. And we kind of took the two universes. It was an accident waiting to happen. We were like, oh, let's just do this 10-page short story. And I drank too much caffeine one day and I wrote a Bible for it. And he was like, we have like 15 books here. And I'm like, well, we need to get working. So he's working on some of the script for that. And so I get to, if I had to choose one genre that I would always want to work in, it would be sci-fi. Mm-hmm. And when Dan and I kind of stumbled into this pulp story, Doc Savage, exactly. At first I was a little nervous when we started working on this project. And I was like, I've never written this stuff. I've never even really been much of a fan of reading it. So I read a couple books and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun because I'm a big fan of the Phantom. Mm-hmm. And actually huge, like that might be one of my favorite superhero movies. Like it's just I used to watch that thing when I came home.
Really?
Yes, I love the Phantom.
The same movie where the guy was in like a purple leotard.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. I could watch it right now if you put it on TV. Oh, there's Dennis.
The Phantom, and it tries to fill in Phantom of the Opera. That's how B it is.
Yeah. Billy Zane. Yeah. Billy Zane is the Phantom.
Zane.
Yep. So
that came out in 1996.
Yeah. I am 43, so.
I said nothing about your age. It's like that wasn't what I was implying. Both of us are older than you, so don't feel bad. But
I used to come home from high school and just watch that all the time.
Really?
Yeah, that and you're gonna laugh. The original He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, I've seen that 1,000 times with
I
the
love
weird
that movie.
thing that they would play and the
Yep.
KFC and the weird. God,
I was a huge fan of the cartoon, and then the movie came out, and it's nothing like the cartoon. But I gotta tell you, like, probably 6 or 7-year-old me, I forget how old I was when it came out. I was in like 1st or 2nd grade. I would come home off the bus and I'd watch it every day. And as I got older, I'm like, I want to have a chest that looks like shoulder pads, like Dolph Lundgren. And so that's why I got into sports and working out, was because I wanted to look like Dolph Lundgren from He-Man.
Man, and talk about an interesting person, Dolph Lundgren, right?
Mm.
But I mean, like, it's funny that you say that the movie was nothing like the cartoon. But have you ever tried to go back and watch some of these 80s cartoons?
I have them on DVD.
And it feel like it's like they were on drugs. Like none of them make any actual sense.
Well, think about the art department. Literally, someone walks in with an action figure and says, "Make a TV show about this," and they're like,
"Why is the cat green? And there's no pants anywhere?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing with this haircut? Whatever."
Yeah, the rainbow says it all. That's all I'm gonna say. Like those rainbow videos.
But all the
and as a kid, I loved it.
That. I tried to go back and watch Thundercats, and I remember like having this nostalgia, this like, connection to all these 80s cartoons. And as an adult, like they had like all the Power Rangers on Netflix, and I tried to sit down my girls who are like Gen Alpha, right? And we're trying to watch, and they're just like, "This is Jom," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
yep.
You're like, "No, you're right. It actually kind of is, but this is what we had back then."
I think I was like, I want to say I was like 5 or 6. I used to run away from home to my aunt's house. Now she lived 4 or 5 condos down. Like she lived in the same community. So I would wait till my mom got in the shower. I'd get so mad at her, and I would run away and go to my aunt's house. And my uncle and I would watch Thundercats. My aunt would cut my hair and give me a bowl of cereal. And she'd call my mom and say, "Chris is here again." And we would finish Thundercats, and she would drive me home. And to this day, my uncle still brings up that he loved that cartoon Thundercats. How dumb it is. It'll pop up now. And he's like, "I remember when Christopher used to come over and we would just watch Thundercats." And he tried to show my daughter, about 6 or 7, maybe. Yeah. And she's like, "This is dumb."
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I mean, it really was. It really was. But I don't understand why we thought it was so entertaining back then. I guess that was just all there was. You know what I mean? And then but we just have these fond memories of these shows that were terrible.
I know.
So, but yet they're still inspiring to us to go and create things that we're passionate about. So it's interesting.
And they sell, like you can, like that He-Man movie that's coming out is gonna sell because of nostalgia. Because we're all like, "Oh,
that we have to it.
This terrible bowl cut. I'm gonna go watch it."
Yeah. It's like, how did they make that man actually look good with that hair? Because every time they put someone with that, the actual haircut, I'm like, "Oh, it's so cringe. Like you can't do that." In the trailer, I was like, they
actually
pulled it off.
I'm curious to see what the movie's gonna be like.
Yeah, I mean, we all are, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Jared Leto as Skeletor, it's gonna be either good or bad.
What? How does that man still find work?
I don't know. People like his band, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what y'all talking about. He's like our generation De Niro.
I loved him in
Careful. In what?
Warlord, Lord of War. I loved him in that.
Yeah, he wasn't bad in that. The one movie, and I don't remember the name, but he did a movie where he played a serial killer, and it's actually pretty good.
I'm gonna Google that.
Look up the name.
Which one?
What was the drug movie he was in?
Oh no, that one was wasn't it something Sky? Look it up. All right.
And look, and I know like a lot of that. The what?
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. That's the drug one. That one is such a
fantastic movie.
Like that movie will not leave you feeling good.
No.
That one. Ooh.
It's a the girl in it, I forget her name, but she's in a TV show that I was watching with my girlfriend one night, and I was like, I can never look at her the same since that movie. And she's like, why? I'm like, I'm just gonna say one line, and when you look it up, you'll see it. And she's like, what? I'm like, ass to ass, just look it up. You'll never look at her the same ever again in your entire life.
It's definition of a strawberry.
That was so hard. So hard.
I mean, all of it. It was just like, there's some movies where you're like, you hope that there's some kind of redemption arc. You know what I mean? And I mean, like, we've talked about this too, William. It's like, at some point there's some kind of levity or something in the story. And sometimes there's these movies that just, you have to sit with the dread. And that's that movie. And it's like, we did that in His Psycho Sal. There's no levity. You know what I mean? And it's just like, there was another one that was out recently. It's like The Devil All the Time or something, All Devil All the Time. And I had such a hard time with that movie because everybody was just so terrible. See, that's why we need more comedy.
True. Yeah, I think the mom probably made me the saddest in that movie because like she just got so abused that entire movie. And I'm from a Catholic Italian family, so your mom and your grandma are like the two most important people in your life.
Yeah.
And seeing him steal from his mom, and then just getting caught up in all that junk and selling everything she has. Like, I was like, man, this is brutal. And like you said, the first time I watched it, I'm like, when am I gonna get that feel good feeling?
Yeah, no, there's no.
Yeah, I was with a bunch of my friends. I was in a band at the time. And we were so down, we just got high. We're like, screw this. Let's smoke some weed and forget about this movie.
Yeah. But some movies, God, it's like you just there's gotta be an out. But he's been in some really bad stuff. This is why he's tainted now, right? Because there's like Blade Runner 2049. Then he had Morbius. He
did Morbius, and he did the joke. He was a Joker.
Suicide Squad, the worst Joker. And then
the really sad thing about that is I hated him as Suicide Squad Joker.
Yeah.
But when Snyder dropped that little end of the movie thing with the Nightmare World, and he played the long-haired Joker on that little short piece, dude, he was badass. I want to see that Joker.
That Joker, maybe. If we had gotten that, but we didn't get that. You know what I mean? Like, we had to get a Spider-Verse crapola in order to get that.
That 10-minute or whatever it was little thing with his interaction with Batman on the nightmare thing.
They just need to do that. But I mean, like, Zack Snyder is done. They're never going to let him touch that franchise again.
Actually, they're talking about bringing another one, letting him finish the 3 movies.
What?
The only issue I have with them letting him finish the movie is that if it goes to the Nightmare World,
that's what I want to see.
Bruce impregnates Lois Lane, and I'm sorry, like that was that whole storyline. No, the storyline that Snyder was going.
That's what he had originally wanted to do. Yeah,
that if they just change that piece and make Superman go bad some other way, I'm fine.
All we gotta do is kill Lois. I mean, that's
kill Lois. Just kill Lois. Do the.
You guys.
That's all we gotta do.
The girl, come on.
Yeah, I mean, as wholesome and as goody as Superman is, the ultimate Boy Scout, really and truly, like the Joker says, one bad day. And I think all they got to do is just kill Lois. They can impregnate Lois by soup, just like they did in Injustice, and kill her in some form. I think it's enough to push him over.
What if the baby kills Lois? I mean, that could happen because it's Super Baby.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Now you're going real dark. Now you're going like what's it?
Oh, The Boys.
The Boys. That's one.
Laser-eyed baby.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, they're supposedly in talks about him doing 2 JLA movies.
Really?
Like the way they did on the Snyder Cut. So straight to whatever it was for Snyder Cut. So we'll see. I mean,
I just want to see what it says.
Yeah, there's some stuff on there. Yeah, I mean that is true. Betrayal is darker than death for sure. But I just think, really and truly, I think Superman's so goody goody and clean cut and straight arrowed. I really think all it would take is Lois dying for him to lose it all. I really do.
Well, like that infamous storyline,
Yeah,
the moment he puts his hand through Joker's chest,
Yep.
you're just like, oh, this is brutal.
Yep.
That was good. And I think if they went with that, the Snyderverse for me is such a love-hate relationship, because the mom moment, how'd you know that name? It's like, oh
Yeah.
like, but I will say, until that moment, I never realized they both had the same mom's name.
I actually didn't either. I was sitting in the theater and I was like, is it? Wait, what? And I was like, oh shit, it is. Like, I never dawned on me, but I didn't really pay them attention to who their mom was. No way. So,
well, I mean, Martha Wayne is mentioned a lot, but like, she's not a character you see very often, so you don't think about it. You do see, Martha Kent a lot. So that one, I was like, oh man, never thought about that.
Yeah,
those pearls belong to Martha.
Oh, excuse me. But
I did love his Batman. I think one of the biggest injustices we got from the Snyderverse not coming to fruition was not getting a true Batman movie from him. He never. I think, and I'll get blasted for this. I grew up in Batman. When I got married, my wedding band was Batman. My first birthday cake was Batman. I have friends over the US that I've made. Like, I have people that buy things. I was in sales for a long time. They would send me Batman presents. That's how big of a Batman fan I was my whole life. Loved Bale. I can watch every single Batman movie, and I don't care. Even the Schwarzenegger one. It's like a cartoon in real life.
Yeah.
But when they did that just the brutal scene in the warehouse.
Oh,
God, give me this Batman. Just give him to me. I want to watch an entire movie of Batfleck. And when they announced him, I remember I remember the 89 Batman, when there was a lot of issue with Keaton. I remember when they cast Bale, and I was a huge Bale fan. And I'm like, he was just in The Machinist and he was 80 pounds. How is he going to be Batman? And then you see him 210 pounds as Batman. Like, oh, geez, like, dude works out. And love those. And then you see, I was a fan of Ben Affleck, and knowing that he had his own Batcave, I'm like, let this man cook. And I would have loved to see that Deathstroke movie he had planned. Like, I think when that switch happened and Ben Affleck stepped down, that might have been the moment I was like, I don't know what DC's gonna do. Like, what's his name? Who's the guy now? I can't think. The guy that's in charge of Superman now.
I know he's the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's James Gunn, isn't it?
James Gunn, yeah. I liked Guardians 1 and Guardians 3. Guardians 2 was kind of okay, but like, I was like, okay, I like James Gunn, but like, when you lose out the gate, you lose Affleck and you lose your Superman. And I mean, both of them embodied those characters very well. Yeah. That was a tough pill to swallow as a fan.
Yeah, I thought Henry did an incredible job. And I thought Ben did a great job as Batman. I like that sour, I've been doing this 20 years. I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm pissed off. I liked that version of Batman. I like things that are a little different. I thought he looked great as Batman. I hate we didn't get that too. And like I said, after seeing Leto as the long-haired Joker in Nightmare World, I really hate we haven't seen that. Because if we could have got that Joker in Suicide Squad, it would have been a whole different ballgame, I think. And yes, Morbius wasn't that great. Don't get me wrong, his portrayal in it, I don't think was that bad. I actually hated the other guy more than I did his.
I don't think Jared Leto is the problem per se. I don't know what it is about when he's involved in a project, something happens and it just doesn't do well. Because like I thought he was great in Blade Runner 2049. He wasn't even a main character, but the movie tanked. You know what I mean?
So
So like,
Tron tanked, Morbius tanked. I agree with you. I don't think it's him. Because again, that movie
is reverse.
Yeah, but that movie, now we know the Joker one was a lot of director issues.
Oh yeah.
Producer issues. Because again, I saw Jared in that damn movie with two other really great actors. I'm so sorry I can't remember the name of it, but he played a serial killer. And dude, it's really good. So I know the brother can act, you know. I saw him, again, when you look at him as long-haired Joker, that's a badass Joker.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just some kind of weird, like she said, some kind of weird little curse thing with him or something.
Is it The Outsider, William?
It might be. Who's the other actors in it?
I don't even know the plot of this one. After World War II, an American POW stays in Japan. No, that's not it. Something about Yakuza.
No, that's not it.
He's like the only white guy in that one.
I know the book you're talking about now.
Urban Legend?
The little things.
Little things.
The little things.
Yeah, it has
Washington.
It has Rami Malek in it and Denzel Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Two detectives get wrapped up in a serial killer spree but can't figure out who the culprit is. Oh.
Yep. I thought he did really good in that movie. So check it out and see what you think of it. But I thought he did great. Like I said, again, when I saw him as the Nightmare Joker, I was like, holy hell. I was like, we missed big with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's wrap things up because I am exhausted and
I can tell you're tired.
Corey, your late pledges are still going, right?
Yeah,
okay. So guys, if you need the Angry Path or you need anything else off her Kickstarter, she's got her late pledges turned on. I think the link is here in chat somewhere. So you guys make sure you go check it out. Same thing with Chris. His Kickstarter launches this month, April 22nd.
We've got Burlap is live right now. You can go to I just put the website in there, hbhcomics.com. We've got Burlap now. Mine launches April 22nd. That's Crit, issue 10. And then right after that one is the next Bigfoot Knows Karate book, which we've got them coming on the 22nd to talk to you, actually.
Okay, good. Wait, you said Burlap is already live?
Yeah, Burlap launched. That one ends after that Friday. So it'll be really good for him to be on here with you on the 22nd because we're closing out that Friday. This is Burlap is a very pulpy horror adventure. I mean, it's got some fun stuff in there, but it is brutal. It is violent, and you'll love it. It was originally released in black and white. Jesse signed with us last year, and part of I was like, hey, I want to relaunch this in Technicolor. I was inspired by a lot of stuff I'd done with you on The Mummy. And when I was looking up artwork for The Mummy, I was talking to Jesse, and I saw this The Mummy in Technicolor. And Jesse was talking about bringing Burlap over, and I was like, man, imagine if we colored Burlap and we did it in Technicolor. And so, that one's live now. It's going. It's first 4 issues of Burlap in one trade collection. So
right, I will get in there first thing in the morning. I will get that shared out. I didn't know you guys went live on that. So guys, if you haven't had a chance, make sure you jump over to Burlap's Kickstarter. That's my cover I did for it. Awesome colors by Dave Kemp. So make sure you guys jump over there and show Chris and Dan and them some love and grab my cover off that or check out the other covers. I'll get it shared out in the morning. Be sure to post the link here for him too if you have the link for that one. But
I'm going to send it to you on Facebook right now so you have it.
All right. Hang on one second, guys. I'll share it in the chat for you real quick. All right, hang on, guys. Let me see if this damn copy link will work. Because sometimes it acts stupid. Okay, there you go, guys. So there's Burlap, #1. Make sure you jump over there, show these guys some love, grab my cover. off of it. Don't forget, like he said, April 22nd, Crit number 10 launches, and there's my cover for that one. But like Lori says, she's got late pledges turned on, so go get your stuff. Hey, Miss Lori, give them a pitch on what you got going on or what you got coming, and then we'll let Chris mention his one more time, and then we'll call it a night.
If you don't know who I am and you're watching this show, what the heck, man? We've been under a rock. I live here. Let's see. If you are new to Path of the Pill Rider, it is a Western apocalypse where death has been broken. We're on issue 8. So late pledges will get you issues 1 through 8. And if you get William's package, The Angry Path, you can get 9 covers. Amazing. In one bundle. And we're in the Golden City, and we're right around the corner from the answer of what the heck happened to death.
Oh.
When I sent out my surveys, I sent a question. It was optional, but you could actually tell me your theory about what you think broke death. So you could be on record. And if you're right, there's a prize for that.
Ooh.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry, I was sharing out this.
I got like lettering and formatting, and I'm doing all the things for William. And I just got a new lettering job from Chris. So I'm busy. Get back to work. Right? Get back to work.
And I am finishing up the script, especially since I'm home this month. We will be launching. I'm going to aim for probably May 1st, probably end of May. I'm going to try to get this launched around the end of May, 1st of June for Sentinel Veil of the Damned. But yeah, Chris, thank you so much, man, for being on and chatting with me. And if you got a website or anything when the show ends, just drop it in the chats. Any links you need them to have, just drop it in the comments on the chat on Facebook or wherever. But yeah, thank you, Miss Lori, for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate that as always. Guys, go show some love. These are indie books. These guys, this is what you guys are asking for. So go grab your favorite covers, share out the links at least, even if you can't grab a cover. Definitely help promote, help get some eyes on. But I'm crashing, and I hope I sleep for like 2 days.
Go to bed. Chris, see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while.
Great to see you.
But yeah, you guys take care. Have a good night, Miss Lori. Have a good night, Chris. Thank you guys.
I'm out. Bye, guys.
All right, so there you go, guys. Some new stuff for you guys to check out and enjoy. Make sure you give Chris a follow. He really is a good dude, creating some fun books. Make sure you jump over to the link. I'm posting it on Facebook right now. The links are in chat here also. But jump over there, grab my cover for Burlap number 1. Get that here as soon as you can. Show those guys some love. Like I said, these are quality people. They're writing quality stories. So take advantage of that and share out the post. I'm putting it up right now. So go share that out. Burlap, Volume 1, cover by me, colors by Dave Kemp. Also, the medals are ordered for the Harley Quinn, Ghost Rider, Batman. They're ordered. We're waiting our turn. So they'll get printed here soon. The order is in for Rise of the Mummy. Those will get printed here soon. We got to wait our turn. I've also got a shipment of books that's going to CGC. I'll let everybody know as soon as I have those back from CGC. I think that's it right now. For all of you guys who may have backed Psycho Sal Omnibus Collector's Edition Kickstarter, they're probably getting ready to pull your second payment soon for your pay over time options. Please make sure you have your payment information correct and ready to go for when they do that. Yes, no cons this month. I've got to get a break from the traveling. So yeah, but I'll still be able to get a bunch of work done. I'll be doing some commissions, getting that wrapped up, getting some covers done that I'm working on. So a lot of catch up there in general. I'm not behind on anything, but again, I'm behind as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm going to get off here, try to get some rest. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to pack up and ship out in the morning. I shipped out a bunch of stuff yesterday. So I'm just about wrapped up on the shipping stuff. But yeah, we'll have the medals in soon. We'll have Rise of the Mummy in soon. Then Psycho Sal Omnibus will be going to print here soon. So lots going on. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, thank you to Lori. Thank you to Chris for coming on and talking about his projects. Remember, we're booked out on the Creators Corner until May. So if you'd like to come on the show and promote your projects, talk about things you have going on, no matter what aspect you fit into in the industry, let us know. We'll try to work you in the May and June month. But yeah, you guys have a great night. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, V, Miss Andrea, everybody for coming out. Michael, you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys.